Okay. Were you ever fixing your hair like this?
That's right.
You getting it ready?
That's right.
Anytime I ever watch you, I just duplicate what you do. I just
Okay.
go,
That you do.
hey everyone, Aaron Tuttle.
Jody Tuttle, Team Tuttle Realty here.
That's right. And happy Thanksgiving week on a Monday.
Yeah, Monday night.
Yeah, so we thought we'd do kind of an impromptu Facebook Live and YouTube Live to talk about a little bit about real estate. We haven't done an evening show. We've been all doing the Saturday morning talk shows up for solid straight, like over a year.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, all right, we did a lot of the topics, and then I was like, I'm kind of getting tired of getting up so early Saturday morning.
You were.
And going to bed Friday night so early.
So was I.
Yeah, I think we both were. So I was like, okay, we got to change things up a little bit. So we decided to kind of do things a little bit different. So we do like an evening show. We'll try this out, see how it goes. You can always watch the replay, obviously, later. Think of it like kind of like a podcast in your car, home, whatever. Maybe you're traveling because obviously some of you can be heading on out for the holidays.
That's correct.
So it'll be a good time to put it in the car and just listen to it. And that way you can kind of get caught up.
Or once their football game is over.
Oh, yeah, for tonight.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Monday Night Football.
Are you a big Monday Night Football fan?
I used to be.
Oh, you used to be? Really? Because you know what today's topic is?
What?
Who's the Tuttles?
Right.
Yeah, it said, who's Team Tuttle?
That's right.
That's the topic. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize you were a big Monday Night Football fan until just now. So I'm going to learn something with you guys. Find out who
Oh
this
my
person
gosh.
is. I call my wife.
You're ridiculous.
Okay. You're ridiculous. That's okay. All right, so let's see. We got everything up and running. Let's jump in a couple things here on the market side. And then we're going to tell you a little bit about us. In other words,
Hey.
okay, we got an interrupter here.
Hi.
I don't know why
What are you doing?
this is when she wants to do this. This is the back of Penelope's head,
This is little Penelope.
and she
Oh, that's
apparently
gonna
wants to
be
just be in the show. So
She was in the show last night for your life.
yeah, she did. She made
she is.
a
Okay.
special appearance in
Okay.
AT's weather. Okay, so you got her under control over
Yeah.
there for now.
For now.
She's a wild one. Okay, so anyway, so back to what I was saying. We're going to do a quick look at the market, kind of give you an update as to what's been going on in the industry for real estate. If you're looking to, put your home up, you want to sell it, you're thinking about buying a home, but man, you're hearing a lot of, scary terminology out there and a lot of unsettledness in the place of space. So we're going to kind of tell you what's really happening and what you can expect over the next couple of years, and then we're going to jump right into kind of a little bit about us.
That's right.
All right, so let's get on with it. First thing, let's do this. And let me see if this will fit in the window. I didn't test it, so you should always test first before you go live.
Well, yeah.
So we're going to just do it.
Look outside first, right?
Yeah, there it is. Well, we did look outside in the morning, but if I look outside in the evening, you know what happens? Look,
It's going to be dark.
it's dark with some clouds. Cold front came in. It was pretty chilly out there. It's 47, and had a little bit of rain today, which is nice. But yeah. So
What's that in Celsius?
Okay, this is not a weather show. Focus. All right, so here we go. Mortgage rates. What are they today? Where do they close at?
So 7.38. So they went up just slightly. Not much at all.
Well, you say it went up. You need to put some context on this. They at one point
Well, they were
8%.
right. So this is actually right now. These rates are the lowest they've been.
Yeah, this is big news. This is
for
huge.
quite some time.
So
So if you're sitting on the fence, wanting to think about getting into a house, now would be the time.
yeah, in other words, if you were kind of just waiting to pull the trigger, and you're like, because you're going to do it, right?
Right.
It's kind of like when you have to do something, like if you're going to buy a car and you know you got to do it.
That's
It's
right.
kind of like you're waiting for just that one moment to kind of time the market, time the entry point.
Well, here it is now.
Yeah, this is a good entry point to get into. Now, will it stay this way? Obviously not. Now, where's it going to go? We'll talk about that here in a second. But
Right.
meanwhile, it was, like I said, 8% not too long ago. Now, let's talk about the movement in the market. And this was actually had some interesting information.
Yeah.
So break it down for them.
Okay, so right now there's 196 new listings. Now this is for the last 7 days in Oklahoma County. Sold and pending homes sold. I remember those being the same. Those really haven't changed. There's still a lot of movement. What was interesting to me when I looked at these numbers was price decreases. 267 homes for price decreases, and 26 homes expired. Now, I mean, on average right now, they're sitting on market about 37 days.
Right.
So a little bit longer.
So, but that's typical. So in other words, as we get into the winter
Right.
period, homes sit longer, and there's not as much inventory usually to pick
Right.
from because people aren't moving. You know, they did most of their moving during the summer and for the kids and all that kind of stuff, or jobs.
Right.
So it's kind of a slow time. Then you get the holidays, and nobody wants to deal with home purchasing or moving.
I mean, not unless
during
you
that.
have to, right?
Right.
So unless there's
Right. So
a big
usually,
family change.
as a result of that, inventory is a little lower.
Right.
But as you mentioned, the big number there is price decreases.
Right.
So those are motivated sellers that like, look, I gotta get this thing off my hands.
Right. Exactly.
I don't want to be stuck with this for the next 2 months.
Correct.
You know, or 3 months waiting for spring buyers to come out
Yeah.
of the woodworks. You know, come out of hibernation. So
Yeah.
maybe we can't get this thing to move. And then if you look at some of the other withdrawn, expired. So there is obviously a little negative pushback this time of the year if things aren't just right. And you always say this, and if the home is priced right, there's a buyer out there.
There's a
you
buyer
know.
out there. Your home will sell.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, people move for all sorts of reasons, right? So,
For sure. There's a lot of life changes that happen.
yep,
Some under your control and others not under your control.
that's correct.
Okay, so that's kind of a quick snapshot now as far as
Mm-hmm.
where do we go from here. So again, we watch a lot of the experts in the industry behind the scenes, and these go from individuals to huge corporations to big
Yep.
financial arms. And if you were to kind of put them all in a basket and blend them all together and smooth out the data, the general consensus is the following. So the market will be a little slow for 2024 and even 2025. In other words, there won't be this big, huge rush in the real estate field. So that means there will be less inventory to pick from if you're in the buying situation. The price of homes will continue to slowly increase. It's going to vary per market because some markets went a little crazy with
Right.
prices, and they've got to kind of correct from that.
Correct.
And there is some wild market swings across the country
Yeah,
right now. I saw
there
some
are.
40, 60% corrections. That's insane.
Right.
But if you were to average out the country as a whole, where people didn't get out of control, like Oklahoma, we're pretty stable. 2 to 3% on a home increase is what you can expect. So if you're
Yeah, we're
thinking, you know, if you hold out now, prices will be cheaper for homes, you know, say 6 months or 8 months from now. The data and the forecasters say, no, that's not going to be the case. You can still expect at least a slight increase in home prices. Now, what about interest rates? So that was the other big deal, right?
Right.
It was kind of a shock to go from the 2s and 3s, all of a sudden 7s to 8
Right.
in a very short amount of time. So the other issue with that is, again, they're kind of expected to kind of teeter-totter around this point. So low 7s through the first part of next year, and then kind of gradually back off into the 6s as we go throughout 2024. And
Right.
if the stars align and good luck comes our way, they're hoping maybe by the time we hit 2025, at the end of 2024, we might dip into the upper 5s.
Right.
So that's what the long range outlook is, and that's from a lot of different players. That's Redfin, Zillow, Goldman. There's so many players in this space that
Sure.
has their experts put in their 2 cents, and they
Exactly.
look at all kinds of indices to try to figure this out. So
Right.
of course nobody knows the future unless you're a weatherman. Then you know the future.
Okay.
But other than that, in this space, that's what we got to work with. So use that
That's right.
information, to your advantage when you're trying to decide whether or not you do want to move in that position.
Well, and ideally, I think right now is the best time to, if you are looking or sitting on the fence, if you're thinking about looking, I would say this is the best time to get into the market. And I say that because if interest rates do come down, what's going to happen? The market is going to get saturated with home buyers again. And now you're going to be in a competition. Why not shop now when there's still inventory out there? We just showed you. Go get out there now and start looking. Find that house. Less competition. You have a little bit more time to shop. And ideally, new home builders. A lot of new home builders are offering a lot of home incentives right now.
So let's
that
talk
are
about that.
enticing.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure. They're enticing a lot of home buyers out there with their closing costs, their incentives, lower interest rates that they have set up with their preferred lenders. So
Yeah, and that's the kind of the good news is because they're sitting on those early loans,
Right.
so they have some money to play around with.
Right.
That benefits you. So over the next year to year and a half, it may be a builder's market as they start to execute their inventory and then finally start to
Yes.
deplete it because it's been building up. It's been kind of sitting and building up and slowly growing as supplies came back in after the big delay of getting raw materials. So that's kind of where we're going. So there may not be a whole lot of homes, pre-owned homes on the market. Maybe there's a lot more new builds on the market to pick from, and with that,
Right.
better deals.
that's correct.
So keep that in mind
Yeah.
in that space as well.
Yeah.
And, it's always a deal where you can afford the home or you can't. In other words, you've already budgeted
Yes.
how much you can spend on a home and a mortgage.
Exactly.
And you'll know if you're in that game or not. If you're not, it's okay. If you need to rent for a little while, at a lower price point, then, that happens. And then save up your money and then go from there. A lot of what kind of people talk about in the industry is owning a home is great because it builds up equity and wealth,
Yes.
but it's a forced method of savings.
Absolutely.
So that's the issue is the biggest drawback of renting is you tell yourself, I'm going to save and save and save this money.
Right.
And the deal is the data says otherwise. Whereas if you have a mortgage that you have to pay, you're actually building yourself equity in the back end of that. So it's actually a form of savings on the back end that you're forced to do. You're forced to pay the mortgage or you lose the home.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
at the good news is you're saving money. You're putting money away
That's
in,
right.
in that process.
It's the biggest wealth maker.
Yeah, 40% over the last 10 years or so of wealth generated, and that will continue to go up. So it's not supposed to be looked at as an investment, unless you're flipping houses and that's what you do as a business side. So don't try to look at your home as an investment. It's an accidental or a side investment only by nature of the fact that it will appreciate over time and you'll have money in the bank that you can use, for future purchases and refinances and maybe other debt is accumulated. That's always there to tap into in a form of equity.
Exactly. And if you're unsure about where you're where you're at financially,
This is what she's
get with
showing.
your, oh my gosh,
She's chewed up that ball.
that's right. Get with your lender, your mortgage provider. If you don't have one, we have one.
Right. That's right.
We can definitely have someone reach out to you just to see where you're at. You may be surprised.
Yeah.
Some folks don't know.
Yeah. And we also have, if you're in that space of home ownership and you need some services, you can always check out our website, teamtuttlerealty.com.
Yeah.
We have a lot of preferred partners on there that are great people, great service.
Absolutely.
They stand by their work, and therefore we will stand by them.
Yes.
We don't like shady people, and we hear contractor stories all the time.
It's unfortunate.
We just heard one just the other day. I was like, they take your money and they disappear.
Right.
Ooh, that is not good with me.
No.
Oh,
So
them are
unethical.
fighting words.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
Rightfully so.
Let's talk about us for a minute.
Okay.
Not to say that in the the negative sense, but
but people might wonder.
yeah, I mean, look, why would I ever want to do business with Team Tuttle Realty? Who are you guys? Where'd you come from? What's your background like? How do you view this space? How do you view clients and working with people?
Right.
So why don't you just take it?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you just go first. Ladies first.
Oh, thanks.
No pressure. You got this.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so I've been in this industry for 13 years. I started actually in the banking industry, and I enjoyed working with clients, helping them repair credit, helping them get loans, mortgages, bank accounts, started doing their investment savings. And from there, I also became a first-time home buyer. And I didn't know a lot about the home purchasing process. I trusted my real estate agent. And it was a deal that really didn't go very well. Once I took, in Canada, we call it possession of the property. Here it's closing. There was swapped out appliances and missing outbuildings outside.
Hold on a second. You can't just gloss over that swapped out appliances.
It was not good.
So give everybody an example of what you're talking about.
So,
because when you go in to get a house, you have to have a list of what's there and what's agreed upon that stays.
correct.
So
Well,
this is where this got a little
in
weird.
the listing, it was stainless steel appliances. When I saw the house, it was stainless steel appliances. When I moved to the house, they were white.
Oh.
They were swapped out.
They pulled old switcheroo.
That's correct.
Hoping you would notice.
Well, that was a big.
Yeah.
And a whole building went missing.
Oh, a
They
whole building.
actually moved a whole building.
They just took a building,
They took a building.
put it on the back of their truck, and
I
drove
don't know
off
what they
with
did
it.
with it, but they removed the whole building, also thinking that we wouldn't
no.
notice.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, it was interesting. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I learned a lot from that whole experience, and still being in the banking industry, I'm like, you know what? I want to change.
Mm-hmm.
I need to help people. I need to educate people. I want people to be informed every step of the way when they're making this home purchase, instead of me having to reach out. Okay, what's next? What do I have to do? Are they going to reach us? What? Did you get a contact? Did you hear something? Like, I don't want any of that. I want to now be able to convey everything along the way to my clients, and ensure that when they do have that house, when we do that final walkthrough, it's the same way that it was when we first viewed it. So
For sure. Something similar happened to my brother whenever he did his house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the prior owner just thought he would notice. He's like, dude, that's not how that works.
that's correct.
So it still happens. It's probably pretty common. So that's another reason why you need a realtor to step in there and go, oh, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And then, get that squared out on the back end to kind of fight for you if that does happen.
Yes.
So you've been in it for what, 13 years now?
13 years. Yeah, started in the Canadian market. I mean, there's some similarities, some differences, but nothing huge.
Yeah.
Got licensed here in Oklahoma, and
So,
yeah, I'm enjoying it.
so kind of what happened was
So it's a wonky market to get started in, but
wonky.
wonky,
You calling us wonky?
like crazy
Crazy?
market.
A crazy
Different.
market. It's all the same.
Yeah,
Real estate's real estate, right?
real estate is real estate. That's right. You just got to persevere and keep moving forward.
Gotcha. So what happened was she moved down here for love. If you don't know our backstory, if you've never heard it, short version is very, very short version. She had to give up everything to move down here from Canada. She was in Winnipeg.
That's correct.
And I'm like, well, I can't leave you hanging in like a fish out of water and, help you start. Imagine having, a 12-year business with all your contacts, your clients, referrals, your base, everything built.
Right.
Right? Your whole sphere of influence, all the people that you know. And then one day you wake up and it's all gone.
Right.
Nothing. You want to talk about fear and being scared and upset. I mean, imagine all the emotions tied into that. But you took
But
a
I
chance. Yeah, you did. You packed up what you had. You moved down here. So
I did.
I got her out of Canada. So in that aspect, obviously for me, I can't let that just happen, you by yourself. I mean,
Right.
there's you have to start all over. So
That's
what I
correct.
did, I said, okay, so how can I help you with real estate? And so in that aspect, it turns there's a lot of rules for real estate when it comes to marketing or promoting or discussing it, to where I would not be able to say much or do much to help you out in that regard.
Right. Plus, our tagline is Team Tuttle.
Well, yeah. So to make that a reality,
Right.
I had to get my real estate license.
Yeah.
So it was happening during COVID, and obviously we all had some time to kill there during COVID.
That's right.
That was a weird place, weird time, and I said, well, so I guess I'll get my real estate license, and so we'll go from there. So I did, and we ended up creating Team Tuttle Realty on the legit side.
Yes.
And so it's been over a year, about a year and a half almost for me.
Yes.
And learning this has been eye-opening. Just
of course.
all the things that go on behind the scenes, the intricacies, and I wish I knew this stuff when I bought my first house, because then I would know if my
Absolutely.
realtor was doing a good job or not. And in hindsight, I look back, she did an okay job, but she could have done better. There were some
Right.
things I was like, I see what she did. But
Yeah.
I didn't know to ask certain questions or, to look at certain things differently.
That's right.
But now I do, so I can take that experience of being a first-time home buyer myself, and then what I've learned on the back end and apply that for all clients. So
Yes.
I can, be in your shoes from day one. And like you said, kind
Yeah.
of basically be your guide throughout the entire process. That way you're not surprised by anything.
Right. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, because there's always something that comes up.
Communication is so important.
Yeah, and that's the. So we, this is basically who are we, right? We are communicators. That my other job is communications. That's all it is. And if you fail at communication, you really don't do a job very well. So with that in mind, it's not only just communication, but it's good communication. It's
Right.
timely, it's appropriate, it's
Right.
Helpful. It's not something that's going to waste your time or anybody else's.
Right.
It also builds relationships, that kind of deal.
Of course.
It's not ghosting. We've talked about ghosting before. I despise that entire thing.
I know.
I don't get it. And somehow it made its way into business, and
It has.
that's not for us. So when people ghost us, it's like World War III in my head. It's fighting words, even though there's not a word spoken.
I understand people get busy and they mean to get back to you, but
Yeah, but when you're talking about money on the line, the biggest purchase of your life,
right. I'm trying to communicate with you.
that's
at
a
least
home purchase. I mean,
communicate
that's
back.
depending on where you're at. Are you $100,000 home? Are you at a $1 million home? Whatever that is, that's money. That is
Yeah.
big money, and to have any type of non-communication during that process,
Yeah.
no place for that. So we make sure that there's plenty of communications both ways for all parties involved. That makes things go much better.
Yeah, sure.
So so I've enjoyed this real estate adventure, this little road,
Good.
that little fork in the road,
I
and
hate for you not to.
but I know, right? So we kind of told you where the market's kind of going, and we're here for the long haul. We're not,
We're not going anywhere.
Here one day, gone the next. Like I said,
Yeah.
this is your 13th year into it, so you're a seasoned vet, and you've seen all different types of markets.
Oh, I've been through all the markets.
Yeah, so we just adjust, like everybody does, and you make
Persevere.
do, persevere, and you work around the obstacles
Yeah.
and whatnot. By the way, if you do have any questions for us during this broadcast, if you're watching it live, you can always put a comment in the Facebook comment section or on
Like
YouTube,
and share.
and we'll post it on there.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's talk a bit more about you as a person, as an individual. Are you good people?
Absolutely, of course.
All right.
You wouldn't marry someone that wasn't?
Boy, you would think. I don't know. We laughed about the song Simply Red.
Yeah. If you don't know me by now.
you will never know me.
That's right.
I'm like, you think you know somebody, But yeah, so I would hope I'd be a good judge of character for sure.
Of course.
And vice versa,
Yeah. That's right. I agree.
But yeah, so our viewpoint is we are very on the ethical, moral, do it, golden rule, do to others you would have them do unto you.
Right.
I despise evil. I despise con artists. I despise bad people. There's no place, in my mind for those. They take up space on this planet, and they take up your energy. So we try to eliminate anything like that around our sphere.
Right.
We don't have time for it. I don't want to have the energy for it. So that's kind of how we view things in general.
Right.
We are both personally Christians, and I know that sometimes that word means nothing. And trust me, I've seen a lot of Christians, and you're right, it means nothing in some cases, and that's sad. But what we try to do is strive to help others, use the gifts that were bestowed upon us to help others in this space.
Sorry.
And am I boring you?
No.
Did you seriously just yawn?
I did. I had to.
What time is it? Is it bedtime?
Oh my God.
Oh, it is bedtime. It's 9 o'clock. I'm about to finish the show by myself. All
It's
right.
okay.
Good night, honey. It's okay. It's all right, baby. Here, just close your
I
eyes.
did. I yawned.
Lean over there a little bit.
It's
and
okay.
I'll take us home. So,
It's that calming voice you have.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's calming.
All right. So anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, so we try to use our time on this earth in a good way, right? Honestly, I think if you're going through life and you're not utilizing it in some way to help others in some fashion,
Right.
it doesn't have to be with your job, but just in general, you've really missed out on a huge opportunity of being more self-centered instead of
Right.
selfless and more giving. And honestly, helping others is probably the best gift you can give yourself. Even them, of course. This couch needs to be wiped down after she got done with that ball.
Right.
That's really gross. So, thanks, Penelope. Okay, so that's kind of how we kind of view things in general. And so we take that into anything that we do, job-wise, etc.
That's right. Absolutely. Of course.
I'm going to let you speak a little bit, and I'm going to go take a nap. So go ahead, you got the floor.
I'm the one yawning, not you.
I know. Hold on, let's see if I can do what you did. I can't do it.
What?
I'm not tired.
Oh, then that's great. I am.
You better pick it up. Got a couple more minutes left.
Oh, goodness.
All right, go ahead. What do you want to say?
You've summed everything up.
No, I've left some things out. I saved you a little bit.
I don't think so. You've covered our ethical, that we're ethical, we're moral, we're communicative, thorough.
Yeah, it's okay.
As far as I'm concerned.
So thorough. That's a good point. All right. So
Yeah.
let me give you an example. All right. And this goes to everyone, because this is going to come to you if you ever decide to sell your home. You obviously want the best money, for the value for the home, right? So, and sometimes you get into really tricky situations that require a lot more investigating. So, for example, on our part, to give you the accurate value of what you should be asking for your property. So we did that here recently.
So your current market analysis, in other words.
And so it's not just you just look at something for 30 seconds and you're done. I mean, you can sit here for an hour looking at all these different avenues to come up with a fair price.
That's right.
So we did that recently, and the price that we came up was actually a little more than I think what the lawyer was, or no, what the
Judge.
the judge, someone who declared what they thought the property was worth.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We didn't know what that value was, but we came up with our own. It was a little more than that, but it was fair for what was in that area. And it was going to be a home that had to be gutted, basically, and then so
That's right.
kind of almost like an investor property, because it was built many
Absolutely
decades
investor.
ago. Probably still has a little bit of the old lead paint and asbestos.
Right.
So there was a lot of work needed to be done. And looking at the home prices in that neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods.
It's time consuming, but it's...
Yeah, and we were there, of course, in person to view everything. So it's very detailed, all right? It does take a lot of our time to do so. So we do that. We provide them a number, and one of the party is great with the number. And then they talk to the other party, and I'm like, nah, we want a lot more money for this. I'm just like, you can want all the money you want for it, but the market's going to dictate, what the property's worth.
That's right.
And a hot market was about a year ago, and then that market has cooled down dramatically. So that hot market is over, where you could get well over asking.
Yes.
And so especially this time of the year. So you got a couple things going against you. And they decided that they wanted to be on the high side, we'll say greed side, but a lot of times people see dollar signs and that's all they want, rather than reality. So they chose to go way higher than what we told them to go, and we're going to see what happens with that property. But that's just an example to where they priced themselves out. We saw a home, that was in that vicinity of what they're asking for, that was actually already worked on and finished and had a lot more things with it.
That's right.
At that price range, and they've got nothing at that price range. I'm going, I don't know who told you,
Right. Well,
and what goes down to is another realtor decided to go, I'll list your home for whatever it is you want. And to us, that is not a good realtor.
it's doing an injustice for your clients.
Yeah, it's a disservice, because what they're really doing is, okay, so let's say, for example, you have a home that's worth $100,000 in reality, real world. And, we come in there and we say, your home's worth 105. We'll just say that. Right. Another realtor you talk to, because he's a friend of the family or whatever, and they go, what do you want to sell it for? We want $200,000 out of it. And that realtor goes, okay, let's do $200,000.
Right.
Okay, that is not a good realtor.
Well, they want the listing.
Yeah, they want the listing, of course, because they want to put food on their table. But no one in the right mind is going to pay $200,000. So what game is played now? And this is where you get some of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Right.
We'll tell you everything. We're totally transparent. So what happens is the realtor, A, knows better. which means now that realtors already crossed over the moral and ethical bounds of what they should have done.
Right.
Now they're just trying to please the client because they just want the money. Now, money being greed, money being food on the table. There's a lot of different motivating factors. Doesn't matter. But they crossed the line of what really is what they should have done. So now you've got this $200,000 price point. So what does it do? It sits. And it sits. And then the realtor goes, we'll just knock a little bit off. And it sits. And it sits.
Sure.
And then they'll go, we'll knock a little bit more off of that, and
That's
it
right.
sits.
Of
And it
course.
sits. And all of a sudden it's on the market for 90 days. And it's had price reduction after price reduction. Now, what happens is people that see these constant price reductions are like, what is wrong with this home?
That's the first thought is, why is this home not selling?
Why is it not selling? And then a few of them will finally go and take the bait and go look at it like, oh my gosh, who's going to pay for pay this for this dump? So you're going to have a lot of that. Hey, you got to speak frank, man, and that you're going to have a lot of that. And so that's what happens. And so then eventually, what happens? The listing gets pulled, right? Because it's been sitting too long. It was never going to sell for what that price was. So this is what happens. Now, as the realtor in that spot, your reputation is tarnished because you overpromised and underdelivered. You basically lied to them and told them that it was worth something that it really wasn't.
Right.
And it's because they didn't do an accurate market analysis for you. And they went along, maybe you were a little greedy and they decided, you know what, if you want to be Mr. Greedy, I'll be Mrs. Greedy with you. Maybe we'll both be greedy together and see what happens. There's all kinds of things that can happen, but the point is it should have been done the right way and that house would have sold. And so now you're in a position where you have to relist the house. Now, you got to go back to a lower price when you relist it though. Maybe something more closer to, in this example, the 105 we gave you versus the 200.
So sometimes, I've encountered this. A lot of homeowners, they have a lot of passion about their home. They always think their home is the best.
True.
So a lot of homeowners will talk to their neighbors, talk to their friends, talk to their families, and they think, okay, well, Sally Joe's house down the street sold for this, and you've got this, this, and this. And that house down the other side sold for this. So they've already got an idea of what they want for their home already made up in their mind. So it's up to us to come in and show you what it actually should be listed for and what it could sell for. The homeowner still has the final say. If you want to throw a number out at me that's slightly higher than what my market numbers are saying, we will give it a shot, but you have to work with me and then give your number a shot for a week, and then we need to reduce it to my number. I've done that many times. So sometimes you just have to do that just to let the homeowner know.
Right.
That, yes, we're accommodating. I'll try your number, but here's what the stats say. Here's what the market says. If we don't get much action, we get some pushback at your price. Here's my price.
But here's the problem with that. Because remember, everybody's different, and people are people. So
sure.
You get in a situation where you say, you know what, I have X over here, and this home doesn't have it. Therefore, I want this value of my home.
Right.
And we come back and we say, what have you done to your home since
Yes.
moving in that has increased your value?
Yes.
Well, I've done nothing.
Okay.
Okay, but yet you're going to want an extra $80,000.
All right, just because the market.
Just because it's a hot market and whatever. And I'm like, okay, but what have you done to deserve that price increase? Well, absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
So the issue is, okay, so we're going to go back and forth in this little negotiation. And this is why I caution you on this path, because what happens is, if you're the homeowner that says, well, I wanted that extra $80,000 added, then that's what we're going to do. And you say, well, okay, we're going to do it, but if we don't get any action, we really need to lower it back closer to my number. Well, here's the problem with that also. Because if you are never willing to see the actual real market value of that lower number, you will blame the realtor. And that's the issue.
It's always our fault.
It's always a realtor's fault. And
Always.
so that is where I caution when you're going through this discussion period of what your home's value is worth, and you're doing this give and take, it's really our job to educate you as to why it's at a certain point. Because if you just pick any random number out of the thin air because so-and-so told you or whatever, you're going to say, well, my home didn't sell for my 80,000 over asking because you guys didn't work hard enough,
yeah.
you know, and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And we're just kind of like, it's because it's not worth that value, that number that you came up with. And so what a lot of times will happen is then they'll go with a different realtor in that case. Okay, so you go to a different realtor. Guess what the new realtor is going to say? If they're worth anything at all, they're going to give you back to closer to the number that you heard from the other realtors.
That's right.
And then you're going to go, okay, fine. And then what's going to happen is the house is going to sell in a day or two. Now,
That's right.
all you've done is argued with the prior realtors who actually were totally upfront with you and fair with you. And then you blame them for everything. In reality, at the end of the day, you should have listened to them. So there is a lot of that going on. Now, we'll say this with a caveat, because you also, in that position, have to have trust that your realtors are actually doing a good job. So
right.
there's a lot of minutia in all of this space. And that's hard. If you're on the other end, how do you know that your realtors are legit? How do you know that they're being truthful and honest with you? What is their track record? Who are they as individuals and as people? How do they see things? Are they motivated by greed? Are they motivated by a paycheck? What's their motivation?
Well, our motivation is not by money. Our motivation is just to make sure that we do a good job for you and that you're happy.
Yeah.
And that you're in a house that you can comfortably afford. The way I look at it is, what happens if you get laid off or there's an injury, and can you still afford to be in your home? Can you afford your home, and can you sell your home for what you paid for it? It's simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
It's overly simple, but yet very complex.
Well,
you make it sound like it's very simple, but you have all these moving parts.
Well, because once upon a time, there was all these multiple offer situations, which drove house prices up and unaffordable for some homeowners.
Right.
But then if they had to turn around and sell that house in 4 weeks' time, 6 weeks' time, 8 weeks' time, could they? Could they get what they want for it? And that's what is happening in a lot of housing markets right now. They overpaid due to what was going on in the market. We're lucky here in Oklahoma. Yeah, we saw a lot of multiple offer situations, but our housing increases are still steadily going up, which is nice.
Yeah, we didn't get too crazy on that aspect of things.
No, that's right. So,
but yeah, just that whole conversation with your realtor, though, you need to really interview them, find out who they are. Now, keep in mind, they're going to interview you. So it goes both ways. Because remember, you're in a mutual...
Well, you want to make sure it's a good fit for all parties involved, because...
Like we said before, I don't want to deal with unscrupulous people. I don't want to deal with people that are not good people, all right? So somebody comes up to us and they want to hire us to sell their home, and I'm going to speak plain language. They're a turd. They're a literal turd, of a human being. Honestly, I don't want to do that. Well, that's the second time.
I know, well, I'm
Am
tired.
I really boring you? You need to get some more sleep. But if they're just such not a nice person, I don't want the money that bad. I don't want the deal that bad. I don't want the interaction that bad. I like good people. I like to work with good people. And I like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character. Minus picking the wife that yawns on me all the time because I bore her to tears.
Okay.
Outside of that,
it's the calming voice. I said that earlier.
Okay. Wink. Is that a wink?
Nah.
All right. But anyway, so I just know that it needs to go both ways. Like you interview them and have them interview you.
That's right.
Just to make sure you guys are a good fit. You're on the same page. You're aligned, in certain areas to where you're going to do great. Now, if you're a con artist, personally, and you know it, pick the worst realtor you can come up with, the dirtiest, sleaziest one. You guys will work great together. But I'm just saying, hey, people are people. I speak from truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But yeah, if you're one, you've got some really high moral, ethical standards. Make sure your realtors share those values.
That's right.
And that way, that'll keep you out of the whole example we gave you of this wild swing in pricing adjustments and that kind of deal.
That's right.
So yeah, so that's kind of the summary on that for us as well. Is we do a good job. We work really hard. We want to make sure that you get the most value that you can, and that we
Yes.
guide you through the process. That you're not left hanging, any step of the way. You're never without information or wondering, hey, I haven't heard from my realtor.
Right.
I need to know this.
That's right.
So, any other high points you want to hit?
No. Covered everything.
You sure? Well, the dogs are getting restless. So
That's right.
Larry's starting to make
I
noises.
can hear Larry down there. Got Penelope staring at me.
Yeah, when the dogs are restless, it's time to wrap it
Hi,
up.
buddy.
It's like having little children. Hi,
Yeah,
buddy.
well, they are little kids.
Yeah, well, that's true. They're both teacup Yorkies,
They're little Tuttles.
little tiny ones. Larry's, we call him Tank. He's still tiny, but he's like a tiny tank.
I know.
He's a little thick for a Yorkie.
Hi, buddy.
So he's what, 3.5 pounds?
That's right.
And then
I'm gonna go
she's
get him. Come on, buddy. Come
3.5,
see
and is she 3 yet?
Mommy. No.
She's still under 3.
That's right. Here's
Okay, so
little
that's
Larry.
so can you see the two of them? Oh, we gotta get them a little higher.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
There's little
Okay,
Larry.
she's not gonna sit still
Hi,
because
buddy.
she's got toys down there.
Hi. Let me put you over here.
All right. So,
How's
anyways,
that?
this is Larry and Penelope,
That's right. Okay.
and I guess he was getting lonely.
He was.
Yeah.
Hi. Are you happy, buddy? Yeah.
All right.
He's a good boy.
So, anyway, I hope this was helpful, educational. You learned a little bit about kind of the back end of real estate and kind of what to watch for when you do work with realtors. Hopefully, at some point, you will pick us if you are in that position. If you know of someone, though, that might be, have them reach out to us or watch this video.
Right.
They can get comfortable with seeing who we are and how we operate. They can DM us, email, phone call. It's all on the screen. Anything will work.
That's right.
We're not going
available.
anywhere. Like we talked about, we don't force deals. We don't have to take deals. That
We're very patient.
we're very patient. So that's good for you.
Contrary to my everyday life. I'm very patient when it comes to
In real estate, yes.
Yes.
I will agree with that, Mrs.
Yes.
Tuttle. Outside of real estate, 0.5 milliseconds.
That's right.
Yeah, fast fingers.
Fast.
Fast pants. Those are my jokes in the house. She has fast fingers, which means she doesn't reach. She just swipes through, and it's already, I don't know, whatever decision's already been made.
That's right.
Before a word was even read.
Keep up.
Yeah, keep up. And then fast pants means she's on the go. And let's see, get your fast pants on today.
Yeah.
But in real estate, though,
buddy.
it doesn't usually work very fast until the point where stuff starts to happen. Then that can go pretty fast.
Yes,
so
that's
that's
right.
that's when your skills of fastness come into play.
That's right.
But yeah, so anyway, so yeah, that was kind of this idea, kind of give you an idea of who we are, what we believe, kind of how we view things. I've got a day job and another side job for those that follow me in the weather business. So, for income wise,
Ooh.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
you're going to mess up my camera there, little one.
Yeah, she hit it.
Yeah, so we're not in that pushy state where if you do get a realtor, by the way, that starts to push you and, say, hey, you need to start doing this, you start doing that. No, they're only pushing you because they need a paycheck to pay for whatever. So we're not ever going to do that to you. So
No,
it's
that's
on
right.
your time, your schedule. So that's another red flag, just a little tip for you behind the scenes. Okay, they're going to start fighting.
Yeah. It's
So that means we got to start going. And I say fight as in play. You know how that goes. We could turn the camera on and just watch them play for 5 minutes, but you're already yawning, so it must be bedtime for Mrs. Tuttle. All right. Anything
okay.
else?
You make me sound like I'm ancient. Listen, I'm on the go all day long. So as soon as I get to sit down,
Yeah?
I get tired.
So you're telling me we went from coffee talk in the morning where you were bright and peppy to now we're going to do the evening show where you're going to yawn and fall asleep?
Well, we'll see.
I don't know if that's going
We
to work
have
out.
it. Yes. Wait. Yes.
We got to do a noon show now?
A noon show?
Yeah, that way you're still awake, not quite sleepy yet?
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we haven't figured out how we're going to do this, but
Or when we're going to do it.
or when we're going to do it. We'll do more of these as we've been doing. By the way,
Yeah.
the videos that we've done in the past, they're on our YouTube
They are.
website and the Facebook page. You can go back at any time and watch them.
On our website, right?
Just yeah, just pick your topic that you're interested in. 'Cause none of it's dated, as far as the actual topic
Right.
is concerned. The first few minutes of each video, we usually do like a little market analysis. Now that'll be dated for that period, but it usually only lasts for like 3-4 minutes. You can just
Right.
zip past it.
That's right.
But then the rest of it will be information you can take for the process of
Yes.
home buying, selling, that kind of deal.
We've done lots of great videos.
Yeah, I mean, we had a whole year. We were going every Saturday.
Yeah.
And we covered a lot of stuff.
We interviewed a lot of our partners that we work with.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a lot of industry, we call it industry insiders.
Yeah.
So it's where we kind of lift the curtain to kind of give you the scoop as what's going on
Yeah.
from that particular field. And
Yeah, I enjoyed those.
yeah, that was actually kind of neat. Always, because I like real, right? I like to know what's going on that nobody ever really knows, right? I like to see the Wizard of Oz.
Well, and you're shedding some light on a topic that maybe people don't know much about, or right. So
Yeah, I mean, in home ownership, you really don't know much until you get into it, and then it's like a deep dive really fast. And the worst, I say the worst part of it, the scariest part of it for me anyway, is whenever you go to actually buy the home and you have to sign your dotted line on like 1,000 pages, and you have to
Yeah.
have full trust that this whole process has been legit because you're signing your life away.
Yeah.
And they're like, sign here, sign here, sign here. I'm just like, I'm just going to assume you guys are,
yeah,
taking me to the promised land, because otherwise I'm in trouble.
That's right.
So that's
I
the
agree.
only, to me, that was the only unnerving process, that you kind of just have to have full blind trust and faith in
Yeah.
everybody that's at the table working with you. So at that point, you need to make sure you got good realtors to get you there. That way you'll feel more comfortable and
Oh, yeah.
you'll feel good about it.
That's right. I agree.
All right. You can find us anytime on the interwebs, on the WWWs.
That's right. That's the nice thing about social media. We're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, we are. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your evening. If it's your morning, if it's your afternoon, whenever you're watching this, if you're hitting the replay. And for those that join us live, always thank you as well. And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you on the next broadcast.
Take care.
All right. Take care.